But I'm so happy to be back. And this is the show where we talk about all things food, mood, and attitude. And my guest today, I'm so excited to have Shawna Pelton with us. And let me just tell you a little bit about Shawna. I was so excited to get to know her recently, in fact, and we realized just how much we have in common with our coaching style and our energetic sort of space. And I'm just so thrilled to have you. So let me... So let me tell the audience a little bit about you. So Shawna, you have quite a history of so much that you have done, and so you're an expert on personal transformation and conversational intelligence for professional excellence. And you're dedicated to helping people get unstuck and consciously create a quantum shift so you're empowered and experience a fulfilling life with more meaningful relationships. So, and there's so much to that. So I would just love for you to just share a little bit about your trajectory into becoming a healer and a coach. You have 2 decades of working with people, and in a lot of different ways. It's not just coaching, but you also have a therapeutic background. You have all kinds of certifications and ways that you've been helping with people. You have your own signature system too, which you're going to share with us today. So why don't you share us a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure, Janine. Thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here with you. And like you shared, it's great to be connected with like minds who are sharing similar have similar purposes, right? Giving in service. And, it's my mission to make this world a better place and to especially make a positive impact on the future of our world. And as a personal empowerment healer and coach, I really am passionate about really helping people find their authentic voice, to live in their power. And when you do that, things work well, meaning people feel like they're in that, like, all right, I'm going to say happy just because everyone knows what that word means, but it's more than happy. It's grounded into yourself. There's freedom there. So some days you're not always happy, but you feel good and you don't need happiness, right? And then how we relate with other people will benefit from that place. And then what we do in the world and the legacy that we leave will also be impacted. So anyway, that's my thing. I'm super passionate about it, and as you mentioned, I've been doing it for nearly 2 decades, but I first started for my own personal stuff. Like, it was like we all do. We have to figure out our own needs, right? And long story short, I was a young single mom. My son's father had died from addiction.
Oh, wow.
And it was a very hard period of my life, and I knew that I needed to figure out a way. I had to move beyond that stuck place, the depression, the anxiety, the rage. It was beyond anger. I was enraged. So I was just suffering and struggling emotionally, mentally. I didn't have the right, speaking of attitude, I didn't eat well. I was eating junk food, right? Anything that made me feel good. And so all of those pieces. Pardon?
How often did you do that, and did it help? I'm curious, like when you used food in that way as a comforting measure, did that help you? And did it actually, like, a lot of people use food for so many reasons, and it works at times. Like, we chastise ourselves for doing it, but it actually is a system that works sometimes when we need it.
Well, yeah, good question. Jenny, I actually didn't realize that I was using food. It was very unconscious behavior. And the type of food that I was using was junk food. And I didn't actually have, like, if you were to look at me, you'd think I was healthy because I was like a skinny, fit girl. I was very athletic. But internally, digestive-wise, I had all health issues. I was a mess. I was physically ill all the time. So I thought it was more like, if you ask, did I think it was helping me? I don't even think I noticed either way. I was completely oblivious to it. I was so unconscious. But it wasn't until I decided to change my life that I learned that food had an impact. I didn't know. Imagine. I mean, look, this was before, right, we're talking like 20 years ago, so this was before we had the internet as a thing, right? You could Google, like, why am I sick, right? You can go to freakyourselfout.com. But I'll tell you what I did. I went to the library, and I would sit at the library and I would go through all these books on my problems, and I would discover, oh my God, food actually has an impact on my body, on my pain, on my health. I didn't know. I was so ignorant. So that was the beginning of my journey of awakening, I would call it.
Hold on one second, Shawna.
Yes. So thanks for everybody while we're waiting.
Yeah, please do.
I really love that. I just share.
Okay, yeah, so that is fascinating. So tell me more about your, like, personal journey to how your personal experience then sort of translated in how you feel called to help others. I bet there's a really big connection there, right?
Yeah, well, I do remember it was a very specific moment. Like, I could remember where I was standing in my kitchen when I had the light bulb moment that I was going to be in greater service to humanity. I was so far from being well. Like, I had ways to go, but I had an epiphany of service to humanity. After years of being sick, of being miserable, being on medications, always at the hospital or whatever, going to the doctors, and they would tell me, well, this is just your life. This is the way it's going to be. And I was like, oh God, something's got to give. This can't just be it. There's more to life than this. And after I had this awareness that I was on the right track, I started to change little things. I started to meditate. With actually VHS. I actually was getting, like, the library had VHSs. I am dating myself here. But I would get the cassette tapes and the VHS, and I'd borrow these things to do yoga, to do meditation, and to do nutrition, and learn about all these things and start applying them and detox and all that. And I had started to find passion for life. And I didn't see physical results so much. Like, at first, it wasn't like everything magically disappeared. But what happened was I had this, like, burning in my belly to keep going, I had hope, and I had this trust and a knowing, and I started to feel better, and I could feel the internal shift happening, and I couldn't put my finger on what it was. But I had said, in this, like, moment of a declaration to the universe, to humanity, I said, people don't know this information exists. People are suffering. People are struggling, like myself. And I am going to make a difference. I am going to be in service someday. And in the same breath, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I'm going to get there. So
that's later. That comes later, right?
Exactly. So with that said, I really, I just committed myself to doing the work, and to really, I was hungry for knowledge. And what I did, Jenny, was everything that I learned, I then went out and I applied. Meaning I tried it out, not just on myself. I wanted to see how other people responded. And it just kept accumulating. I had more and more and more people to work with and to help, and I just developed my skills that way. And so that's why I have such the eclectic dimension. There's this eclectic history of all the things that I do, because it started with nutrition. I actually got certified as a holistic nutritionist and herbalist. So natural medicine was what I was working with for a while. I did energy medicine, spiritual training, healing. I actually was trained and certified spiritual teacher, healer, and ritual master within the International Mystery School, so the Modern Mystery School. That was a big deal. Hypnotherapy, I studied neuro-linguistic programming, because you need to work on the mind, right? And that's where you really start to see significant shifts. So with that said, there's much, much more that I've done. And over the course of these past couple decades, what I've done was I've taken the experience that I've had in helping people change, and I've looked at, well, what's the steps? Like, where do you begin? What's the foundation? What do we move into? What are we heading towards? Like, what's this ultimate place that we're heading? And so from there, I've actually created my Pathways to Excellence, I call it, is this system or series of how you progress through your transformation and aspire to excel.
So tell me a little bit about what a session with you might look like, using all of your wisdom and the modalities that you have and your incredible philosophy. Tell me, what would that be like to work with you?
Well,
and who are the types of clients that come see you?
So, people come to see me because they're at that place where they just can't keep repeating the same patterns. They see it. They're like, okay, I'm stuck in, the negative thinking, the stinking thinking, the critical mind, sabotaging themselves with behaviors like food addictions or other things that cause health issues. They just can't seem to stop the pattern of their behaviors and their attitude. And so when they come to see me, I used to just be like, oh, let's just do a few sessions. I don't do that anymore, because I'll tell you what, it took years for you to get the way that you got. And it's going to take dedication and structure and time to work through each of the different layers of, stage one is the healing stage. So that means we have to pull out the weeds. We have to look at, well, what are the core wounds from your earlier stages of life? Where were you traumatized? Where did you experience your dramas? And what behaviors did you learn from mimicking others that aren't even unique, that aren't even yours, right? They're not your authentic self behavior. Mm-hmm. You've just duplicated. So we have to go through that first stage of discovery. And then it's kind of priming the space, or you know how in farming you have to prep the soil. At the end of the season, you have to prep the soil and then let it sit. And then by the time spring rolls around, you're able to plant new seeds.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
So in the same way we're doing that, we're prepping this soil. And in the same way, everything that you go through that was once your drama and the crap that you went through is actually going to fertilize your field.
Ooh, I've never thought of it that way.
Yeah, so we repurpose. We figure out, well, what was the gold in that drama, in that experience? And we extract that gold, and from your difficulties, we find the good. And then that is how we plant the seeds into the new soil, your new terrain. And we have to nurture that seed to grow. So once that seed is planted, you need to develop new skills for yourself. So that means, we are born, think about this. When a baby's born in the world, it's like, oh, the baby's born. Now the real work begins. You have to teach them how to talk, how to eat, how to walk, who they are. Help them through those different growth phases. And so that second stage transformation is no different. You're developing yourself. Just because you primed yourself and you've gotten rid of some of the, you've got pulled up the junk, the weeds, now you have to do work.
Oh, wow. I mean, it's like digesting your life experiences so that you can be receptive to new nourishment and new way of. Oh, wow, that's a really great way of thinking about it. So, have you ever do you do any work like EMDR or EFT or any other types of those sort of trauma healing modalities?
Yes, I have. I incorporate all these different things based on different stages of the game. So wherever people are on their journey, I might teach them a new skill that's relevant to what they'll need in that stage. So I no longer throw the whole entire everything at people at once, because you can't sustain all of that. You have to kind of develop your mastery of one thing at a time. And so there's a lot of that. It's like practicing, developing mastery, a lot of reminding people of what they're committed to, who they are, that sort of thing, and building them up from within. So those are just tools that deal with symptoms when we're triggered and we have challenges. So yes, I have, and I do these at certain stages of the process. And then the final stage is fulfillment. That's embodiment. It's like, all right, so now that I'm getting I'm skilled in my, new self, my authentic self, what am I going to do in the world with this? What am I going to do with this one wild and precious life? As God, that's a famous quote. I already forgot who said it. But anyway, I apologize for whoever said that. I'm not trying to steal it from her. But there's this, fulfillment of our purpose and potential. And, it's that whole thing about life passions and purpose, I think that it's aspirational. But it's also, it seems so far away for someone who's struggling. It's almost as if they can't even imagine that their life has purpose and meaning when they're trying to figure out, they're in the heavy part of it. They're in the dark places. It's so difficult to deal with their current reality. Never mind try and think about, fulfilling their destiny.
Oh, yeah. And it's almost like Maslow's hierarchy, of needs, where if you're not getting the higher parts met, there's no way you can go deeper and to get into some of those core wounds, right?
Yes, exactly. I use that concept and teach those practices. So, when it comes to the whole right relationship, that was what we originally, I think you asked me, I went way down this rabbit hole. But the right concept of right relationship is actually based off of two different pieces, the ancient teachings and the wisdom teachings, rather, of universal principles that we apply in life to, manifest our desires, to create this life that we're here living by design in it. And there are ancient teachings that show you those steps for creation. And there's new science called quantum physics, which actually teaches us that everything in the cosmos, I'll tell you what that is, everything boils down to how we relate and how we interact with our circumstances, with other people, with ourselves, with our memories, meaning our thoughts, with our opportunities or objects that come to us, obstacles, and source or God or higher self, whatever you relate to. So that's the cosmos.
Wow.
COSMOS, the cosmos, everything in the cosmos. I can see you just had a question.
Yeah, no, well, I want you to, if you could just move to your right a little bit. I want to make sure your face is fully there. Let's try that.
Is that better?
Let's try that.
Did I move to my right or your right? I can't be sure.
Move to the other right.
This way?
Yeah. Yes, there's your beautiful face. There we go.
All right.
Perfect.
Sorry.
My question is, so that, first of all, everything you're saying is like, I'm so resonating with in such a deep way. And just the fact that you bring such depth and such authenticity to your work, like, so for those of you who don't know, I met Shawna through the Boston Businesswomen's Facebook group, and I forget what it was, but someone was dealing with some anxiety and was looking for some help, and like your name just popped up like over and over and over again. So you're clearly doing some really powerful and impactful work in this world, and I just love like all those different layers of like connecting to self, connecting to the source, connecting with your environment. It almost makes me also think of like how, you know, because we're always attributing meaning to our thoughts, and we're always learning through those experiences, even if they're maybe faulty, right? Our perceptions aren't always correct. And then if we're attributing meaning to those beliefs, to those perceptions, then you can almost see how everything that you do is finding evidence to corroborate that core belief, which may be faulty to begin with, right?
Exactly. I love it. Yeah, really great observation. It's true. So what happens is we accumulate data to affirm what we believe. But if what we believe was faulty to begin with, and erroneous belief systems come from our cultural conditioning, from our experiences that we've had as a child. And look, when we're children, we interpret the world through innocent, naive eyes. And it's no wonder we make all these mistakes, right?
Yeah.
We don't see the whole picture. Mm-hmm. And so what happens is the mind is always trying to just keep our beliefs, true to us. Meaning, like you said, assign meaning.
Yeah. Right, because it's almost like cognitive dissonance. If you find something that's different than what you believe, then almost all your values, like everything gets flipped on its head, and you have to sort of have a complete paradigm shift, which I think could be really scary for people.
Yeah.
Because we crave that comfort and we crave that familiarity. And if everything we've thought and believed about ourselves for all this time is wrong, like what do we do with that, right? So let's say you have that in a session with somebody, like, and they have this like aha moment. What do you do at that point to kind of further that huge transformation?
That gap. When they have the aha moment that they have been keeping this faulty belief system, upholding this faulty belief system, and has been self-sabotaging their lives because of it?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that in that moment, someone has that awakening. As a matter of fact, that's the first step out of what I call unconsciously incompetent. Mm-hmm. So when you're unconsciously incompetent, you don't see that you're doing that. But all of a sudden, you have this awakening and you realize that's what you've been doing, and then you become consciously incompetent. So now you're aware of it.
Okay, well then everything changes, right?
And things change because you have consciousness. Consciousness is in light. Anytime you shed light into the darkness, what's in the dark can't stay in the light can't stay alive for long, or when it's brought up to the light, rather. But it's the most painful stage because people feel all of a sudden they feel guilty about what they've been doing. They feel ashamed of themselves. They feel angry about it. And it's the most fragile moment that we want to hide back into the dark. We want to go back into the comfort zone like you just talked about, right? It's our instincts to stay comfortable and familiar. Mm-hmm. So we're fighting against that instinct to retreat into the comfort zone. And we're also fighting against all of those fear-based beliefs about, I'm bad, I'm wrong, shame, grief, the grief response. It is what it is. Shame, anger, sadness. And so the first thing I do is give people permission to be there and not try and change it. That's not what we're doing that day. We're not changing those flaws. You're there with them. It's okay because they've served you on some level. They got you to where you needed to be. They had a purpose or else they wouldn't have been there. And so we learn how to have a new relationship with what we're looking at, the circumstances of our life. And so in that moment, we now, instead of going to the place of, remember I mentioned everything comes down to how you relate and act. So if you relate like a victim, you're going to act like a victim, which means the fight or flight response kicks in. But if you relate like a conscious creator, you're going to act like a conscious creator, which is compassionate. So in a new way, you have compassion for your thoughts and feelings and the circumstances of your life. So that's the first thing that we do is practice what it's like to be in that new relationship with yourself, your memories, those pains.
That's so beautiful. And I really am aligned with that so much, because this is often what I talk about with my clients too, where people are so angry at the fact that they binge, they're angry at the binge, and they're angry at this. And I kind of say, like, well, what if you welcomed it in as part of who you are, your experience? What if you gave it a voice? What if you were able to say, rather than shun it away, like integrate it and make peace with it and befriend it as part of you.
Absolutely.
And then be able to look at it from a different consciousness, as opposed to like this foe who's just out to get you and why do you do this? You can be like, okay, why are you here? There's a reason you're here, and let's examine it. Let's bring inquiry to it. It sounds like very much what you do as well.
Yeah, definitely. And so that's, in terms of how we heal, how we move forward, and how we actually embody our higher potential, that compassionate response is a must-have. It's the very first stage of transformation, being in that new way and sitting with the pain differently. Because, let's face it, our old way of reacting to pain was either pushing it down, repressing it, that's what the feeding it is, right? Or beating it up with critical thinking and judgmental thinking. Right? So we either react or repress. And those, so those two behaviors were learned somewhere, or passed down to us. Maybe we just adopted them because, they were in our lineage, or we witnessed them somehow. And so we're learning how to embody our higher potential by practicing what it means to be compassionate and patient and loving and kind. It's not easy.
It's not easy at all. I mean, it's that's where the real work is, right? And it's also like there's no timeline. You have to go through it. You have to go through it. You have to be accepting of it. Can't be on a timeline that you've subjectively decided, okay, I should be healed by now, or I should be better. It has to go through the timeline.
Yeah, so when people say, like, when is this going to end? It's like, well, that's not the right question. A better question would be, what has to emerge from me so that I can withstand this?
Beautiful. Do you ever have you researched at all any epigenetics and how that plays a role in it? Do you do work with that? Tell me about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so that was a big study of mine for a long time. I worked with epigenetics and actual DNA testing. But anyway, so the role that epigenetics plays, or at least the understanding how epigenetics works, if anyone wants a quick, very short synopsis or needs information, the idea that your DNA dictates your life and that you're just a victim to your DNA is actually obsolete. That is no longer true anymore. We realized that it was not the actual DNA or the genes that gave rise to certain conditions in our life, like health issues, but it was the environment that those genes lived in. So the conditions that your cells are swimming in, like the pH value or like toxicity, that actually turns on or off certain genes. So if your environment is toxic from cortisol, which is like the hormone that's related to stress, anger, frustration, that fight or flight response, then of course it causes inflammation in the body, and then it leads to turning on of these unhealthy genes. And so the expression of those genes will be whatever's unhealthy related to it. But if the environment if you have the relaxation response, so you pump a different hormone, so the opposite of cortisol, I don't want to call it opposite, another hormone would be oxytocin.
Right.
So oxytocin is a love hormone. Well, they found that chemical actually causes your DNA to relax. And so what that means is that if you were to think about, you know how you can envision with me, everyone watching, you can play along. Think about an elastic. You know how you take an elastic and you just wind it up, and wind it up, and it kind of tighten. It looks like a spiral DNA, right? Tightly bound spiral DNA. So all of the codes for life are found within the DNA, but you can't access those codes if it's too tightly bound. So you can't turn on your potential if you can't access those codes.
Ooh. So what you're saying then is the key to this is activating the relaxation response.
Yes. And it unwinds your DNA. It opens up the DNA's ability to let the light that shine through and turn on your higher DNA, your higher potential for health and wellness.
Wow. This is like a master class. This is awesome. I love it. Wow. I'm learning so much from you. This is amazing. I feel like a kindred spirit with you.
I know. I'm glad we connected.
Oh, me too. Before we finish up here, tell us a little bit more about with respect to relationships. Like, do you do like work with couples as well, or do you do?
So I don't do couple work, but when people come to me because they're either have already broken up, like maybe they're in the process of separating or divorce, and they're in that place where they realize that they don't want to. First of all, there's grief involved, so that they don't, they're having to deal with the emotional effects of loss of a relationship. But also, they don't want to keep repeating the same pattern. They don't want to jump into another relationship and then have the same results. They want to change that pattern, and that's an essential thing for healing pattern. You have to kind of go through a whole journey of understanding, well, what led you to that place. But when in relationship, like when people are having frustrations with their partner, then I teach them conversational intelligence, which means, and that is, if there's disconnect in a relationship, there's lost trust. That somehow you don't feel safe of being vulnerable with your partner, so you're not going to tell them what's on your mind. You're not going to share your aspirations, your hopes, your desires, your fears, because you don't feel safe. And so if you don't feel safe with your partner, the longer you go with that, the more, the wider the abyss gets, that deepen in the crevasse, right? It's like the two tectonic plates are separating, and then that leads to the demise of the relationship. So what I teach is conversational intelligence that helps to bridge the gap and build trust back again so that you can feel safe and effectively communicate your needs and boundaries in a loving, empowering way.
Oh, it's beautiful. So needed. I feel like so many people need more skills in that area.
Yeah.
Like, you can be an amazing communicator, but you also have to play that dance with that other person so that they're communicating in a way that they hear and vice versa. Yeah. And that's where I think it's really difficult, because we're only communicating from our own lens of what makes sense, right? Without taking into consideration how somebody else hears and listens and communicates. And I think that's what makes it so tricky, but it's so beautiful because you're focusing on that person and that way of, like you said, like creating boundaries and being able to be expressive and to build that trust again. I think it's such important work, and I'm so glad that you are a touch point for people in this particular realm. I think it's so incredibly needed and lacking in a lot of relationships and a lot of people,
Yeah. Well, we weren't taught this because I don't think our, good intended caregivers who love us I don't think that they knew how to do it themselves. So, of course, we couldn't learn from them. And we, again, just perpetuate the cycle of what we think we know, and we keep repeating those same patterns, and it's just not working. It's causing more pain and separation. So.
And there's parallels, too, with what you're saying with my work again, too, with, like, you keep eating the chips at night. It's the same cue, it's the same script over and over again, and people feel so stuck. Like, how do I shift that script? How do I not do what I've always done? And that's, that's the hard work, right?
It is, it's work. And that's why, that's why people like you and myself and others who are in service created these systems to support. Because the thing is, here's the frustrations, top frustrations. Doing the same thing and expecting different results, right? Like doing it your own, thinking, I got this, I can do this. And, oh gosh, what do I say? No structure. No, you don't have a roadmap for it. You don't know what's next. You're just kind of throwing anything at the wall and seeing what sticks. And when you're alone, you don't have people around you. You don't have. I find, maybe you see this too, Jenny, I know you do masterminds, that when I witness other people shift, it activates something within me, and I know that there's power in our shared. Growth, and that's so the secret is to not try and do it on your own, to be surrounded by community, and to find a structured system that is proven to work, so that you can follow a roadmap for your success.
Yes, and this is how you bridge that gap. You create the support and the system, so that we're not free-floating, but we're actually moving in a direction that makes sense, and that's allowing that, wow, it's great. I think you're doing incredible work. Where can people find you, Shawna?
Well, they can go to my name, ShawnaPelton.com. There's also, in my Facebook group, I actually have my Pathways to Excellence private Facebook group. But when people access that, it's typically because they've maybe done something. Like, I actually have a free offer that will lead you to it. So the free offer, if you go to I Aspire to Excel, so I as in like individual, aspire to excel.com. I actually have, I think it's a 5-day challenge of tools, teachings, and templates to help people align with their potential. And, so it's like every day I go through, here's some obstacles, here's how to overcome them, and I give guidelines on like how do you get started. It's really just like, here's like one solid step that you can take that will give you a sense of clarity moving forward.
So it's like the very first step on that roadmap is that first point of view. So exactly. I had put that in the show notes, all of the information, but I'm going, since we had to do a separate live, I'm going to post it in the comments here, and then update the event page as well, so people can immediately access that. And is there anything else you want to share with the audience before we go?
Oh my gosh, you know what? I think, Jenny, I have a feeling you and I can talk all day.
It's true. It's totally true.
And I appreciate the opportunity, and I'm really glad that we were able to make sure. I don't know if people know this. We had technical difficulties, so we had to call in each other. We made it work, and I'm so happy that we were able to figure out this technology, make it work, and I'm glad to be in